Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. How's everybody doing today? Come on in and let's talk. Let's talk. Come on in and hit that like button. We're going to talk about some success principles, okay? Because success principles, they will work in whatever field you're in. It doesn't have to be the trades, it can be anything. It can be life. And you can take the principles that we talk about today and apply them to your life in general and you will see success. Hands down, no doubt about it. Success will come to you if you apply certain principles, right? And they don't cost anything. That's the thing about it. They're free. You just got to develop them. What it will cost you though is maybe some discipline. It'll cost you some some time, but it won't necessarily cost you money. It doesn't have to cost you money. Okay. Um, so right here, Calibrate Tools and DIY. We are dedicated to making you proficient in tools for the home, for the DIY projects that you engage in, or for the trade that you work in. That's what this channel is all about, to help you learn something we learn together. Okay. That's what it's all about, continuous learning. Okay. So let's talk about this guys. What does it mean to be successful uh, in the trades? Okay. And like I said, you can apply this to any area of your life when you're talking about success. But let's kind of focus in on the trades. That can be any trade. It can be plumbing, HVAC, electrical, you name it. Doesn't matter. Okay. Success principles apply all throughout. Does not matter. Okay. But because this channel is about tools and trades, hey, I had to throw trades in there, but I really want everybody to watch this and listen and apply it to whatever field you're in and see success. All right. And you don't need a guru to tell you how to be successful. It's already in you. You just gotta, you've learned this stuff already. You already know. Some of you guys already know this stuff. Okay, but knowing something and applying it are two different things, right? Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to make a lot of money, this, that, and the other, but they don't want to do the things that's going to get them, the money or the status or the position they where they want to be in life. So, um, hold on a second. All right, okay, guys. So anyway, yeah, I was just told that my shirt's all. What do you guys think? Is my shirt off or something like that? Right here, maybe. All right. Hey, I'm just a DIY guy. I don't. But that's a good lesson. Presentation. You don't want to look you want to look presentable, especially when you come on camera. Okay, guys, let's jump right into it. Okay, how to be successful. Okay, these are simple things. You already know. Number one, be on time. Be on time, right? How many of you guys, like, let's just say you're waiting for somebody to come by, and they're late. They're late all the time. That leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right? That's not a good impression to make, especially when you come on a job site, or let's just say you have your own business and you want to meet a customer, and the customer is there before you. That leaves a very bad impression in that person's mind, right? So you got to be on time. That's the number one principle. That's simple. You don't have to think hard about that. Just wake up extra early if you have to. Have your clothes out, laid out on the bed or something, like have your shoes, whatever, laid out the night before so you won't be late, right? Set that alarm clock, right? Let's just say you have a job interview, or like I said, if you own a business, you got to meet with a customer. You don't want to show up late. Okay, not a good look. Not a good look at all. Okay, guys, come on in the chat, say hi. Always welcome here. So we're talking about how to be successful in the trades, how to be successful in life, period, because you can apply all these things I'm talking about right now to your life and see results. Okay. All right. Work ethic. Number two, work ethic. What does that mean? If you have a work ethic, that means you're not just working to get off at 5 o'clock, right? You're working because you have a vision. Otherwise, why are you there? Even if that vision is to just please or look good in front of everybody else. That, at least that's a vision, right? So you have a work ethic, but it really should be to develop that character in you to look at work as a not a something to be disdained or something that you hate, but a good work ethic should really come from something from a place where you enjoy what you're doing, where it doesn't even seem like work, right? And that's very important because a lot of times people they get into careers, jobs, whatever that they hate. So how can you have a good work ethic if you hate what you're doing? Paragirl Life Notes. Yep, be prepared, anticipate what tools you need. Absolutely, Paragirl Life Notes. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared uh, when you go into these job sites. You got to do the research before to see what you need. So when you show up like a pro. Even though you're not a pro yet, you can still look like a pro. Okay. So, like I said, guys, you got to have that work ethic. Okay. That work ethic is very important. So, don't just go and get a job because you need a job. Look at something that you don't have to be in love with the job, but you got to enjoy it somewhat, right? And what I've learned in my own life is that, what do I like to do? What was I good at as a youth? And what where do my proclivities lead me, right? Where I can enjoy that, enjoy what I'm doing somewhat, right? And that will bring out a good work ethic, right? And you have to have goals as well. If you don't have goals, then you may not have a work ethic because you're just there. You're just there to get a paycheck or whatever, and you're just waiting to punch out or maybe leave early, arrive late and leave early and all that. That's not gonna make you successful. And everybody has their own definition of success, but you know what I mean. If you define success as in terms of financial success or the satisfaction of putting in a hard day's work and all that good stuff, you got to have the work ethic, no matter how you look at it. Okay. That brings me to effort. Number 3 is effort. Okay. What is effort? Effort and work ethic are kind of the same thing. You gotta stretch yourself. Okay. In the trades, right? There's so much to learn. There is so much to learn, and you gotta be willing to stretch yourself, right? You're not just gonna pick up a hammer or whatever. There's so much to learn. You can rise to the level of a general contractor or something like that. It's always about continuous learning. So, but you got to put the effort in, right? You got to make time. You got to take time out to study your craft, and just advance along the way. Okay, you can't do that. You can't advance if you don't have effort. If you don't put in effort. Okay. Uh, Here's another one that some people may say, well, hey, I can act how I want to act. Well, this is the thing. I hear a saying that's thrown around a lot. It says, we say, oh, I don't care what they think about me, or I don't, this, that, and the other. Well, if you're in somebody's house, quote unquote, you kind of got to care what they think about you. You just can't act how you want to act. You got to have some level of respect for yourself. You got to have some level of respect for, do I want to say superiors? They may be your superiors, or maybe your subordinates. You got to have respect for everybody, right? Not to the point where um, I don't want to say you're so subservient that you're acting really subservient. Not to that point, but you got to have some kind of respect for yourself and the way you carry yourself, right? That comes down to clothing. What are you wearing? How do you dress in when you're not working, right? Do you have your pants sagging? or do you have you know hey, I know tattoos are a big thing today, but that can really turn a lot of people off. I know it's more widely accepted today, but no, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, listen, am I presenting myself right to the world, in a presentable fashion where it will open up opportunities for me, or it may repel opportunities for me just by the way I dress, right? How am I carrying myself? Do I walk with my head down? Do I have a confident walk, or do I carry myself in a confident way? Well, this is all comes down to body language, right? So people can judge you just by looking at you, right? Just by looking at you. And this is not to say that you've got to conform to what people think you should be, but you have to have some level of respect, some level of decorum, and know how to present yourself in a way where, you know, people look at you and say, hey, listen, this person's about something, right? They're not just hanging out, dressing how they want, not caring, right? So take that how you want to take it, but that's very important to watch how you present yourself. Okay. Um, okay. Here's another one. They all kind of tie into each other. What's your energy level? What is your energy level, right? Are you an upbeat person? Or are you when you talk, can someone hear your voice, or do you talk so low that they can't hear anything? Uh, do you do you exude some kind of uh, uh, energy that makes people want to, you know, that attracts people to you, right? And once again, it doesn't mean you have to be fake out there, but you have to have some level of energy when you get out of bed in the morning, you go tackle the world and you tackle all the stuff that's going to come at you, whether it's on the job site, whether it's off the job site, you know, whether you got your own business, whether whether you dealing with customers or whatever. You got to have your energy has to be um, and it has to be exuded to the point where it makes people feel comfortable, and where you can, you know, you can talk to them about what needs to be done, and they feel that they feel that, hey, I want to go do this, okay, because he said that, right? Yeah, you can pass on that energy to others, believe me. All right. And everything I'm saying, they all tie in together. It's about attitude. Like if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you come to work, that's not gonna that's not gonna go over well, right? Because people get turned off, and people that don't like you already, you just give them more reason not to like you, and then it's just a bad work atmosphere. Okay, a bad work atmosphere. All right. Here's another one, guys, and I kind of talked about it earlier. How do you feel? How do you feel about going to that particular job? Do you have some passion for it? Uh, and this is very important, guys. This is very important. A lot of times we make choices based on the immediate necessity of money, of whatever, you know, things like that. The basic necessities of life. So we got to go out there and get a job. We do not like what we're doing at all. Okay, that's a really bad place to be in, especially as you get older and you find yourself in these positions where, um, you know, you just hate what you do, but you got to make the money. But you go home miserable every day. You're miserable at work. Whatever. You can even own a business and still be miserable because it's not really what you want to be doing, right? So you got to have some level of passion for what you're doing. Like I said, you don't have to be in love with what you're doing, but you got to have some level of passion for it, and you may even grow to really like what you're doing. Okay, so you got to have that, guys. All right. Your ability to learn. Okay, be coachable, right? Um, that's another thing, guys. A lot of times I run into people that I don't want to call them arrogant, but I guess you can say maybe they think they know it all, and you can't tell them anything because they know it all, or you tell them something and then they go around and say the same thing you said. What do you think about that, Perry Good Life Notes? They say the same thing you just told them 5 minutes ago, like they came up with it. You know, that's that's I don't know, maybe it's a personality trait or something like that. But yeah, you got to be coachable, guys. You got to be able to just keep your mouth shut and listen, right? Even if you know what the other person's saying, you're ready. You're miles ahead of them. Sometimes it's best just to stay quiet and just say, "Hey, okay, I'll let them talk." They can take all the credit. It's not about that. Sometimes you got to put your ego aside and just let them say what they got to say and let them take the credit, right? And just get the job done. Because at the end of the day, it's all about teamwork. It's all about the project. It's all about finishing what needs to be done. All right. All right. Here's another good one, guys. Uh, Sometimes, or I'd say pretty much all the time, if you can. But this depends on how much you like doing what you do. If you go over and beyond what needs to be done, you'll never lose that way, right? You'll never lose that way. And I think this applies when you this applies best when you have a vision for yourself. So don't look at a job as you working for somebody. You can also turn the tables and say, hey, I'm going to this job, but they're actually working for me because they're giving me what I need to do what I have to do, right? So if you take the money and the wage thing out of the equation, everybody's just working together, from the so-called boss all the way down to the lowest level employee. That lowest level employee, you may need him. You may need him. So everybody's kind of equal in a sense, right? You can't be a boss without employees, or you can't be a boss without delegation, and you need people for that, right? So, if you go over and above what you need to do, that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. All right. So we talked about continuous learning before. Very important, guys. If you're in a particular trade or particular field, and you see yourself going further in that field, take take the initiative. Don't wait for somebody to tell you, hey, listen, you should advance to that level. You should already be looking at the higher levels of where you are and where you want to go. Pair your life notes. You have to find a place of expectation for what you will bring to the job and what you will learn to enhance your current skills. Absolutely. Right. You'll never lose that weight. Definitely. Right. You'll never lose. Paragirl Life Notes is basically saying that you will never lose learning as you take on continuous learning, because nobody can take away that knowledge that you gain, right? Even if they never give you a raise, right? But you've learned something every day at that particular place, or job, or whatever you want to call it. If you learn something every day, you've won. Okay, you've won, right? Because you can take those skills and you can leave at some point confident that you can go start your own business up because of the knowledge that you gain. So it's all about perspective. If you look at jobs as a or the job you're on as a something that's very stressful, that you don't want to be there, it's going to be hard, because who wants to go there? Who wants to go to a place like that every day, right? But if you turn the perspective around and look at it as a place where you can learn something new, and add to your arsenal of knowledge, where you can take it and start your own, then you'll never lose that way, right? Absolutely, Paragon Life Notes. Here's another good one, guys, that you need another skill that you need to be successful in the trades and other areas of your life. Decision making, guys. One of the worst things that you can do in life, right, on the job, if you have some sort of responsibility, is what waffle between what to do, right? You're not a decision maker. You can't make decisions in a timely fashion. That will destroy you. It will destroy your time management, and it will spill over into the people that you're working with, because they look at you and say, they're looking up to you. Your subordinates are looking up to you as, okay, what do we do now? And then your so-called superior are looking at you like, what are you doing? What's going on here? So you got to be a good decision maker, and be able to make decisions quickly, and be able to assess the situation, and to make a quick decision. Okay, so decision making is very important in the trades, because time schedules are sometimes really tight, and you can't have things held up just because you can't make a decision. Sometimes it's better to make a semi bad decision than no decision at all. Okay, so it's not good to straddle the fence, guys. Make a decision and stick with it. And if it doesn't turn out the way you want it, at least you made the decision. You can correct it from there. Most of the time, if the decision is not quite adequate, it does have some redeeming qualities. Okay, where you're more further ahead than you were if you did not make a decision. All right, so decision making is very important. Digital technology. Well, it's 2022. If you're not familiar with computers, or any kind of digital technology, even a cell phone. Everybody's on cell phone everywhere. Okay, it's just ubiquitous. Yeah, you got to be, you got to be somewhat proficient with with a computer, with digital technology to send and receive messages, to read emails and all that stuff. Okay, because that's how people communicate today, right? It's not like the old days, right? So you got to be proficient in digital technology to some degree. Okay, so let's see here. Planning and organizing. Now that kind of ties into decision making, but if you're if you're good at planning and organizing, then decisions aren't as hard to make, right? Because you planned ahead of time. You've looked at the different outcomes if you made this decision versus that decision, okay, and you've organized everything accordingly, right? So that means that you have to develop the skill of looking ahead and seeing the different possibilities, right? Being able to run around in your head and look at everything, look at from point A to point B in your head, and maybe on a piece of paper, scratch it down if you have to. Everybody has different methods, but you have to be able to plan things out, right? I was actually in the shop today, working on an exhaust uh, vent that I have to build for a fume extractor, and made it out of metal. Okay, and it had to be bent on a pan and box brake. Excuse me, sorry about my voice, guys. But the thing is, with the pan and box brake that's at the shop, you have to be very careful, right? Because if you bend the metal uh, wrong, then it won't work, right? If you bend the metal wrong, it won't work. And if the metal is too big for that particular pan and box brake, it won't work. And I found out, the hard way today that I had to come back to the drawing board a couple of times with the part and shave off maybe about a couple inches, I'll say about 4 inches, just so I could create that 90-degree angle that I needed to create a metal box. Okay. And that required me thinking ahead. But even though I thought ahead, I couldn't anticipate every little thing, right? That's why I ran into those issues. So you have to have the ability to, back up and say, okay, I got to go back to the drawing board and correct this. Okay. And you gotta know how to correct it as well. All right. It's, you're going to make mistakes, if you want to call them mistakes. I call them learnings, right? You're going to make some learnings. And, the thing about learning is that it allows you to come back to the drawing board and correct it. Okay. Because you can say, oh, I made this and not know how to correct it. And you got to go call somebody else from the other department to help you out. Okay. And water, very good life knows water. Yeah. Actually, I got some water in the other room, but I'm okay. Thanks, Very Good Life Notes. Appreciate that. All right. So the ability to come back to the drawing board and correct or modify something is a great asset. All right. You're gonna need that. Okay, because stuff is not gonna go right all the time. So yeah. All right. So planning and organizing, the ability to come back and correct or modify something so that it works. Okay. All right. Since we're talking about the trades, you got to be good with numbers. Numbers, guys. Numbers and measurements. I mean, if you know how to read a measuring tape, you're miles ahead. You wouldn't believe how many people can't read a measuring tape. Hell, I mean, when I was younger, I wasn't thinking about a measuring tape. But you got to know how to do calculations in your head or on a piece of paper, or even with a calculator. I mean, they got calculators now that will do construction math for you, right? I got a video on. Go check out the video catalog. I got a video on how to use a construction calculator. But even with that calculator, you got to know what dimensions you're putting in for it to work, right? And so you got to be proficient with math. Got to be good with numbers, at least decent with numbers. Okay, if you're involved in the trades, right? Because that's pretty much what it's all about. You look at a project and you figure out how long, how wide, how tall. Okay, and you need exact measurements. then you go ahead and get those measurements, and then you get the materials that that the measurements correspond to, and boom, there you go. Okay, so half of being involved in the trades. I don't care what trade it is. If you're in electrical, if you're in a plumbing, if you're a HVAC, if you're dealing with numbers, right? All that. If you're looking at dials on a compressor, you're dealing with numbers. Okay. Perigo Life Notes, budgets. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Perigo Life Notes, budgets. Absolutely. Even a general contractor. I think I talked about in my other live. It's not just somebody that's just goes to buy wood or lumber from the hardware store and throws up a house. No, they're dealing with customers, they're dealing with budgets, they're dealing with timelines and all that stuff, right? So budgets involve numbers, and so you got to be familiar with numbers. And if you're not, get familiar with them, right? Get familiar with them, because you can numbers are pretty much another language, okay? And but guess what? They don't lie. That's what I like about numbers. They don't lie to you. Words can lie to you. Everything else can lie to you. Everything else can deceive you, but numbers can't, right? And remember, measure once. No, that's it. Measure twice, cut once. All right. So if you're out in the field and you got to build something, or you got to check something, repair something, and you need to find some dimensions, always measure more than once. So when you cut it, you're cutting right one time. Okay. So measure twice, cut once. That's an old saying. All right. Let's see. Oral communication. Oral communication. Somebody was telling me about a a relative of theirs, that a young man, he's about 18 years old or so, and he's very introverted. He doesn't speak, very, very quiet, to the point that it's kind of unnerving. I mean, it's not that he's a bad person, or a sinister type of person, but he just doesn't talk. He's just very, very quiet. Well, that's not going to serve you in life, guys. You got to know how to speak up. You got to know how to voice your opinions. You got to know how to voice your grievances. If you're a quiet person and you can't talk, guess what? You're going to get knocked around in life. I mean, you got to be able to open your mouth. That's what you got it for. Maybe that's why I'm on YouTube, right? Because I wouldn't say I'm like a super talkative person, but if you're marketing something, then you got to be able to, if you don't hire out and you're doing it yourself, you got to be able to get out there and talk, right? Get out there and communicate. So on the job site, or in the, wherever you are with a customer or something like that, you got to be able to talk, and you got to be able to talk with authority and confidence. Okay. You can't speak with, with a lack of confidence, or anything like that, or a meek type of tone. Nobody's going to respect you. They're going to take advantage of you. Even your customer could take advantage of you if they sense that you don't have a backbone. Okay. So that all comes out in how you present yourself when you speak, right? All comes out in your voice, right? People can tell a lot just by how you speak. All right. Now, yeah, well, I take that back. Mike Tyson, he sounds, look at how he sounded. But look, I mean, you don't want to get in the ring with Mike. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to make a blanket statement, but for the most part, you still got to speak with confidence. I don't care the tone of your voice, because out there, I mean, it's rough out there. And in the trades, man, you got some rough personalities. And, one of the ways that you can let people know, hey, I'm not a pushover, is the tone of your voice. Okay. So, and when you're communicating to like I said, your subordinates or even your superiors, people sense what kind of person you are just by the way you speak to them, right? Nobody's saying, okay, be overbearing and try to fake it or anything, but do develop some kind of strength in the way you speak, because that definitely can get you ahead in life. And I know it sounds like, hey, what does that have to do with the trades? Well, it has to do with everything. It has to do with trades. It has to do with how far you get in life. These simple things I'm mentioning to you: how you dress, how you present yourself, how you speak, how you carry yourself. All these things contribute to your success in life. Okay, in the trades, whatever fields you're in. Okay. All right. Here's another good one, guys. Problem solving skills. What kind of problem solving skills do you have? Because in the trades, it's all about solving problems. and not just the trades, but that's what we're talking about today. Okay, this can be applied in all fields, but you got to be able to solve problems. Like I said, I was working on that metal exhaust that I'm building for the fume extractor, and you'll see that I got some footage for that I'm gonna put out in the video. And you got to think things through, man. It's problem solving is I enjoy problem solving. It makes your brain fire. It makes the synapses fire. It makes it work. And it actually, when you're thinking, trying to solve a problem in your head, you're not thinking about the end of the day or trying to clock out. You're thinking, you're in a creative mode, and the creativity aspect is always, in my opinion, is where the growth happens, right? Um, because it makes you the more problems you're able to solve and the quicker you're able to solve them, okay, because you've been doing it so long, the more valuable you become, right? Wherever you are, right? Um, and like I said, today I was building a box, and I had to figure out how this box was going to be bent with the pan and box break, the metal bender, to bend it just right. And I ran into a few things I didn't anticipate, and I had to go shave off part of the box so I can get the right 90-degree angle and all that good stuff. But all that was problem solving, and at the end of the day, the box came out exactly how I wanted it to come out, right? So yeah, so that was nice. Come on in the chat, say hi, guys. Hit the like button. Okay, Calibrate Tools and DIY, dedicated to getting you proficient in using tools for your home and DIY projects, or whatever trade that you do, trade that you work in. This channel is dedicated to getting you more proficient in that as well. Okay, and we do over here at Calibrate Tools and DIY, we welcome all comments and advice. Okay, because we all learn here together, right? It's not just a one-man show. This is a us thing. All right. So what else here? Working with others. Let's get right down to it. You're gonna be around people that you don't necessarily like. You're not necessarily familiar with them. When I say familiar with them, they could be from another culture. They can be from something. They can speak another language or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They can have a very unlikable attitude, right? They can have very unlikable attitude. When you're working together, you have to have a team mentality. You have to put aside all your biases, prejudices, and all that stuff to get the job done, okay? Because a divided house will fall, right? So you got to be able to put that stuff aside and understand that's some elementary thinking, and it's not going to get you anywhere. And all it's going to do is stress people out, stress you out. And who wants to come to stay in an environment where that's, it's like that. I know sometimes it's hard to avoid certain personalities that for lack of a better word, irk you, or they don't like you for whatever reason. It's just the way it is. I mean, the world is not a perfect place, and you would be well to throw that idea out of the door right now, because it's not. You're going to walk into environments where people don't necessarily like you, right? For their own reasons. But you're there for a reason. And if you look at it like this, when you go into certain environments, look at it like, hey, I'm coming here to get what I need, right? And I'm going to give as well, but I'm also going to receive, and I'm going to learn, and I'm not even going to think about all the negative stuff. Now, it can become in some situations, it can get to the point where, hey, listen, this is not a healthy work environment. It's not a healthy atmosphere. And for me to come to work every day. So sometimes it's best to leave that environment and look for a better environment to be in, right? Because, hey, we all know that there's environments where it's I don't want to say you may feel very oppressed and you need to get out. And you're doing all you can, but hey, some people don't want you there for whatever reason, right? So you just, hey, That's why it's good to learn what you need to learn, so you can go wherever you need to go, and you got the skills. Nobody can take that away from you. All right, but it's good to know how to work with others and as best you can. All right, another thing, guys, that I see out there is writing skills are not always adequate. Right, you can be a very very intelligent person, but if your writing skills are subpar, then that can also leave a bad impression, right? Let's just say, your spelling is off, your grammar is off. And you can be a hell of a mechanic or a hell of a whatever. But when your writing is very very poor, that I would suggest that you improve that, okay? Because that sends a signal that gives an impression that this person is uneducated, even though you may be smarter than the guy who knows how to write like what do they say, the King's English or whatever. Um, you know, develop those writing skills. It can only add value to how people see you, right? Okay, it can only add value. You will not lose in that area. Very good life notes. Go team different skill sets. Help troubleshoot faster in the task at hand. Yes, yeah. When you learn different skill sets, you can be a great troubleshooter, right? And I'm glad Perry Girl Life Notes brought up that term, troubleshooting, because troubleshooting, if you're able to troubleshoot something, that separates the boys from the men. Okay, right? Because when you can look at a problem, and you can, without even necessarily touching anything, you can say, hey, okay, because you've done it in the past, you're familiar with it, you already know what the problem could be, and you already know whatever solution that it could be, right? And so your ability to troubleshoot, similar to problem solving, is one of your greatest assets. One of your greatest assets out there in the field. Okay, diction is important too. Oh, absolutely, Perigo Life Notes. Absolutely. We talked about writing. Okay, reading is another one that I didn't mention, but Perigo Life Notes said diction as well. The way you express yourself, right? And then that kind of ties into what we talked about before. Well, not necessarily body language. Diction is in a category of its own. The way you speak, right? Um, if you sound uneducated, if you sound uneducated, it's just not gonna. It's not a good look, man. It's not a good look, and you don't have to sound like you know. I don't want to say what's that, Poindexter or something like that. Nobody's telling you to sound like that, okay? But it goes back to writing and reading. All right, if if you write well and you read well, most of the time, if you do those things right or well, okay, at least decently, you're gonna speak well, okay. So they all kind of tied in together, right? So um, I would work on that if I have if my diction isn't up to par, if I speak, with slang and all this good stuff. When you're on a job site or you're dealing with customers, if you're a business owner, they're going to judge you off not only how you look, but how you speak. I mean, the things that you can be dressed in a three-piece suit, but if your diction is off, they're going to look at you like, hey, what's going on here? This guy, he looks good, but when he spoke to me, I mean, his words were off. I'm not saying, myself, I still have to work on my diction, but um, I mean, you don't want to sound ignorant. Okay, I'm just gonna be straight up. You don't want to sound ignorant. It's just not. It's not a good look at all. It's not going to help you, and it's not one of the keys to success. I don't care what anybody tells you. And these things are just basic things you got to learn uh, when you're out there in life, out there in the world, out there in the field, dealing with people, whether whoever it is, employees, customers. It's all about how you present yourself. Okay, because people are very judgmental. We're judgmental as human beings. We judge these things. Okay. And sometimes rightly so, because it's like, okay, let's just say you're my employee or something like that. And I send you out to talk to somebody or talk to a customer and your diction is off. They're going to look at me like they're going to look at the company like, okay, what's it? Is this you're hiring people like this? So at the end of the day, if you're putting forth effort to get better, nobody's going to turn you down. Okay, if you're putting forth the effort, but you got to be putting forth the effort, right? And you got to know what's good diction and what's not good diction. You just can't come on a site and speak how you want to speak. You just can't dress how you want to dress. Okay, because it's not going to help you. Okay, it's not going to help you at all. All right, let's see here. Lastly, guys, okay, lastly, you understand that there's nothing in life that that you can't do. All right, there's nothing in life that you can't be successful at. You just have to understand the simple principles of success, right? That and I just we that's what this whole live is all about today, right? To prepare you and to develop the character, right? To go out there in the world and conquer whatever it is you want to conquer. Okay, when I say conquer, I mean win. I'm not necessarily conquer other people, but win for you, whatever winning means. Be successful at it. Okay. The Drons Doctor, how you doing, Drons Doctor? Yeah, what's going on, buddy? Positive attitude. Yep, we talked about attitude, Drons Doctor. You got to have a positive attitude, and because that's what gets you through the day. All right. It's not a fake attitude. Oh, I got to be positive, but just it's about knowing that you have whatever you need within you to do whatever it is that you need to do. Right. That's what it means to be a fully functioning human being. Okay. You got to step out in life. When you step out that door every day, every morning, you know that nothing is beneath you. Okay. Or nothing's. When I say nothing's beneath you, what I really mean is that, well, there's two levels to that. Okay, let's back up here. When I say nothing's beneath you, know that, okay, if I need to sweep a floor, I'll sweep the floor. Okay. If I need to go talk to a customer, I'll go talk to a customer. If I need to make a sale, I'll make a sale. Okay. So even the lowly positions of cleaning or sweeping the floor, that's not beneath you, because it's all part of, it's all part of keeping the place looking clean. That basic stuff. You're not looking, I can't do that. That's not for me. No, no. So there's a level of humility that you do have to have as well. All right. Um, that's good, John Stockton. Thanks for coming on in here, man. Okay. I don't know if you ever came in live. First time I seen you, but it's good to see you there. Okay. So, yeah, guys, have a positive attitude. Just know that, hey, listen, anything can be done with the right amount of time. You can do anything. All right. You can succeed at anything. Okay. It's all about how you position your mind. Okay. If you position your mind in the wrong way, then hey, nothing's gonna happen for you. All right. John Stockton, it's a team effort. Absolutely. You got to have that team mentality. It's not just about you. You're there with others to make for the greater goal, to make a certain project come to life. And you can't do it by yourself. You're contributing to it, right? You don't want to be that one guy on the team that thinks he's doing it all, right? Because people don't, even if you are doing most of the work and you have an arrogant attitude about it, okay, and you don't give people credit, then hey, you can start creating a toxic atmosphere, because people start looking at you like, hey, this guy's arrogant. So one thing I learned is to give people credit, even for whatever they do, right? Don't let that go unnoticed, where somebody does something and you take all the credit for it, or you don't acknowledge them, right? At the end of the day, people want to know that you acknowledge them, that you care. And even the people that don't like you, not that you're trying to make them like you, but even if you acknowledge the efforts they put in, right, that's always a good thing, right? They may turn from somebody that doesn't like you to somebody that at least gives you some respect, right? So yeah, so these are some success principles that I've learned over time. Doesn't cost you money. You just got to learn them, man. You just got to learn them. Okay? They can cost you time. Sometimes you got to learn hard lessons. You know, they can be hard to learn sometimes, but if you learn them and you apply them, trust me, you'll be successful in whatever you do. Okay. So that's my live today, guys. Appreciate Prairie Girl Life Notes and Dron's Doctor coming in. Thank you, guys. And who's ever watching on the replay, remember, you can do whatever you want. Just set your mind to it. You'd be successful at whatever it is. It's all a mental thing. Okay. So, guys, have a good day, and I'll see you next time.